Swans is an American experimental rock band originally active from 1982 to 1997, led by singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist Michael Gira. The band was one of the few groups to emerge from the early 1980s New York no-wave scene and stay intact into the next decade. Formed by Gira in 1982, Swans employed a shifting lineup of musicians until their dissolution in 1997. Besides Gira, the only other constant members were keyboardist/vocalist/songwriter Jarboe from 1984 to 1997, and semi-constant guitarist Norman Westberg. The band became known for its experimental instrumentation and repetitive song structures. In 2010, Gira reformed Swans without Jarboe. Hanel did not stay long in the group, and by the time of their recording debut she had been replaced by Bob Pezzola. This lineup of the group also featured saxophonist Daniel Galli-Duani, who had previously played with Kane as the avant-garde duo Transmission. The debut EP, Swans, released on Liber, is markedly different from anything they would do later. The plodding tempos and distorted, detuned guitar work is reminiscent of such post-punk outfits as Joy Division. However, the minimal chord structures owe more to blues, while the jazz instrumentation and awkward time signatures are evidence of Swans' roots in the no-wave scene of the late 1970s, which had more or less collapsed by the release of 1984's Cop. In the same article cited above, Kane compares Swans to blues icon Chester Bennett, a.k.a. Howlin' Wolf. While this comparison might initially seem unlikely, there are in fact some similarities worth noting. The music of early Swans was often based on a single riff, played repeatedly to hypnotic effect. Some of Bennett's songs, especially the songs penned by Bennett himself, have a similar structure and quality. Their early music was typified by slow and grinding guitar noise and pounding drums, punctuated by Gira's morbid and violent lyrics, usually barked or shouted. Critics have described Swans' early recordings as aggressive beyond words. Their first full-length release, Filth, featured driving, choppy rhythms and abrasive drums. The whole is reminiscent of earlier no-wave bands, such as Moz, and the work of Swans' contemporaries, like Sonic Youth's Confusion is Sex and Killer Idols, but critic Ned Draggett contends that early Swans really is like little else on the planet before or since. Filth was the first album to feature guitarist Norman Westberg, who would play a vital role in much of Swans' music, and would feature on every subsequent studio album apart from Love of Life. Cop and the originally untitled Young God EP were both released in 1984 and re-released together on CD in 1992. Young God has been known by several names, usually by one of its two A-sides, such as I Crawled, or, notoriously, as Raping a Slave. This release is often confused with their self-titled debut. The music continues in the same vein as Filth, and is again vaguely reminiscent of heavy metal music played in extreme slow motion. Swans were, in this era, Gira on vocals, Westberg on guitar, Harry Crosby on bass guitar and Rolly Mosselman on drums. Gira's vocals had changed slightly, becoming slowly more melodic, although the snarl still remained. Some of the songs on the EP, particularly Young God and I Crawled, have an actual vocal melody, if rudimentary, hinting at the sounds of future releases. Young God is considered by many to be the best of their early releases for this reason. One of the trademarks of Swans' early period was playing at painfully loud volumes during concerts, often leading to police stopping shows. Gira was also notably confrontational with the audience, such as stepping on people's fingers resting on the stage, pulling people's hair, and, notably, physically assaulting anyone caught in the crowd headbanging, something Gira detested. This lent a reputation to the name Swans, which was one of the contributing factors in Gira's retirement of the band in 1997.